Bienvenido a Español 101. Welcome to Spanish 101. A great way to get an ear for Spanish is by listening to Spanish music. Well, what a great way to expose yourself is through music. It's a great way to introduce. So as many times as I can, I try to introduce to you as much música hispanohablante, Spanish-speaking music as possible. So today, this was actually from the 70s in Colombia. It was by two sisters, Ilia y Elizabeth. Se llama Alegría. Alegría means happiness. And Alegría, or happiness or joy. Spanish has brought me so much happiness and joy that I am really looking forward to sharing all of that alegría with you. So mi nombre es Professor Bridget Beeline, and I am going to do a small introduction about who I am, quién soy yo, so you have a good idea of what you're getting yourself into this semester. So, como yo les dije, like I told you, my name is Professor Bridget Beeline. Lots of vowels in it, so B-E-I-L-E-I-N. That's important when you're going to send me an email that you have that right. I am a professor of world languages, hablo español y francés, so I speak Spanish and French. I'm also the world language coordinator here, and we have many languages offered at this amazing community college. We offer Spanish, French, German, Japanese, and sign language. Yo enseño español y francés. So I teach Spanish and French here. So vamos. All right. So why do I teach world languages? Well, there are so many reasons for it. But originally, I wanted to let you know that I wanted to be a phys ed teacher. And after taking an anatomy and physiology class, I realized I really had to change directions. And so the reason I'm telling you this, you guys are at a really integral point when you're trying to decide what you want to do every day for the rest of your life. Your quality of life is really important. So please pick something that speaks to you. Pick something that you can do for the next 40 or 50 years that may also bring you joy, because your job involves a lot of your time, and your time is very, very valuable. And so you'd like to spend that time being happy. And so after I realized I couldn't be a phys ed teacher, I reflected on an experience that I had when I was 16. I had a phenomenal Spanish teacher in high school, and she took us to Mexico. And I just want to preface this conversation with the idea that when I grew up in the 90s as a teenager, I did not have access to cable, and I did not have access to internet. So what I knew about the world was very limited. And maybe what was taught to me could have come from limited views as well. So when I went to Mexico for that 10 days, I learned more than I did in any classroom for 3 years, because I learned by doing. And by going to Mexico and actually putting my skills to use, learn experientially, learn by doing, I really just, it was the way I need to learn. And so I fell in love with the fact that languages isn't just about vocab and grammar, but we interweave culture and food and history, and all of that applies to the language that you are learning. And when you get to learn by doing, this is so, so fun. And so I decided to major in Spanish and minor in French, and that later led me to study abroad in Spain for 6 months with a family, where again, it changed the trajectory of my life, because it was the first time that I was able to step outside my own society and reflect on it as well. And so that's when I realized that Americans work really, really hard with not as many breaks as most other people. And so my day in Spain, I would wake up around 7:30. I'd come home around 12:30 to eat a big meal with my family. And then afterwards, we'd have a siesta. Could you imagine anybody in your American life right now that comes home for lunch and takes a nap in the middle of the day and then goes back to work or goes to their sports activities? Then in the evening, they don't eat until 8 or 9. It's a much smaller bite. So I became fascinated with these different ideas of living. And there's no right way or no wrong way. The American dream is great, but so is the Spanish dream, the Mexican dream, and the Dutch dream. And languages opened up all these new ideas of living for me to be able to see and improve my own quality of life. So I have traveled all around the world. I've been to 21 countries. Many of them I've been back to numerous times. I would find jobs in the summer that paid me to travel abroad as well. One of my jobs now is to offer study abroad, and that's something I'll be talking about later in this semester as well. So if you guys look on the left-hand side here, these are just some of the countries that I have been to, but it'll give you a little bit idea of my experience. And so I am very passionate about what I teach. I love opening my students' eyes to this amazing world that is around them. And so I'm so glad that you are here for the journey. All right. Vámonos. Let's keep going. So, to some of the more important things. My email. This is so important porque es muy interesante. So, my email is BRBline. So, it's not just my first name and my last name, my first initial and last name. It uses the first two letters of my name. If you email BBline, that email is going to go to my brother who also works here. So I kept my last name when I got married, which causes all sorts of confusion. So make sure that when you go to send me an email, it's brbeeline@niagaracc.suny.edu. And this email is by far the best way to get a hold of me. I check this at least twice a day, if not more, during the semester. Mi oficina es 237. My office is 237 in the E building. I am attached right to the Arts and Humanities Division office. Mis horas de oficina. Please check Brightspace for your updated office hours. I'm usually really consistent with them, but obviously life changes quickly, so I always like to, the best way is to just keep up to date on Brightspace to know what my office hours are. Okay, so one of the things, what course material do we use for school? So I am going to walk you guys through a little thing so you guys can see how you can get started today on all of your coursework. And so we are using First Day Access, which is also known as First Day Complete. So all of your books have already been purchased and have been added to your tuition. So you do not need to go to the bookstore. You're going to be able to click on one link and start all of your work. We use McGraw-Hill Connect Experience Spanish, and where you can find the link to all these resources in Brightspace, and I'm going to take you there right now. So if you go to your home page, I'm just going to slowly, I know that I talk really fast, and if I'm in person in class, I always tell my students, make sure you tell me, give me a timeout so that I can slow down. So just be mindful. What's great about video, you can always go back and watch me twice, but I will try to be mindful about how quick I go. So here we are at the Niagara County Community College homepage. This is where you're going to find all your classes that you're signed up for this semester. What you're going to do is go ahead and you're going to find your Web Elementary Spanish. You're in summer session, so you definitely look under the summer one. If you're in fall semester, you're going to look under your fall and spring and so on. And so what you're going to see is a little box that says course materials, your course syllabus and schedule. And so if you clicked on this, you're going to be able to see when everything is due and what each class, how each class goes. So if you go to content, it's going to show you where all of our modules are. And this is where you can find every single lesson. And this is where you can find all the resources that you need. The first week we start in the icebreaker module. So if you click on that on the left-hand side toolbar, you guys have a couple of assignments. And they're not anything too challenging, hopefully, just something to get you warmed up. So one of your first assignments is going to be a discussion post, and you need to introduce yourself. So one of the questions I would like you to do is just help us get to know you a little bit so we know this community and we can personalize and introduce ourselves. So where in the world do you want to travel and why? And why did you decide to take this course, and how do you think learning Spanish will benefit you? Finally, respond to 2 of your class peers by greeting them with references to their profiles and posting. So this is one of the assignments in your icebreaker modules. And then your course materials, which is probably one of the most important. So in order to register for this class, you guys can go ahead and click on the link that says Register for Connect. It's going to take you to your summer, fall, or spring section, and you will be able to sign up using your email. Okay, so if I go back to this icebreaker module, you guys can also see once you are registered, you're going to have access to the ebook. And I'll make sure it says ebook here too. Right now it doesn't say that. And if you go to my Connect section, it's going to take me to mine, and I'm going to go to my courses. You guys are going to be able to see your Spanish 101 where you would also use your book. Okay. So I will make sure to go and do a detailed, orientation on that in the next class as well, just to refresh your brain, because I know this is a lot of information coming at you. So please, if there are any questions or problems, do not hesitate for a second to reach out to me. So going back to that content and our icebreaker module, one of the first lessons, video lessons you're going to have is with me. So I have this video, Meet Your Professor, and then you're going to take a quiz on it. So normally what you're going to see, let's say your second lesson is the Spanish speaking world. This is how all of your lessons are set up. So I give you a cheat sheet and I try to do it in the Word doc in PDF. And then there's a video lesson that I made. The cheat sheet goes with the video lesson. So if you're watching the video lesson, have this sheet ready and fill it in. This sheet will make sure that you're absolutely successful on your quiz, right? So all of these things play really important, play into each other in your success. And so I try to give you all the opportunities to be successful. So if you guys can see, here's your cheat sheet. The cheat sheet does not need to be turned in. This is used so that you don't have to be going back and forth, that you can retain the information better and then go take this information and take your quiz. So after you would fill that out, you would watch the video, or, printed that out, you watch the video lesson, and you're going to have no problems taking the quiz. And then you would click on the quiz, and that would launch that for you. So hopefully this gives you a better idea of how everything is set up in the class. I try to make it really accessible and easy for you. So how do I break your grade down? Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about next. Your Connect quizzes are 60% of your grade. These are by far the most important. Great news. I give you 3 opportunities to take these quizzes because a growth mindset is absolutely necessary if you are going to be successful in anything that you do, and especially with world languages. The whole point with world languages is repetition and making errors and then learning from those mistakes. So for every quiz, you have 3 opportunities. So there is no reason you should not be able to improve if you have the motivation to do it. There are 3 celebrations of knowledge throughout the semester, otherwise known as exams. So I like to celebrate what you know or what you don't know and just see where we are at. And so again, these are, you only can take one time, but they're worth 5% of your grades. If you're not necessarily a great text taker, it's not going to make or break you. Your final exam is cumulative, meaning we go over everything that we learned during the semester, and that is worth 10%. And then 15% of your grade is participation in discussion. So are you completing your assignments? Are you posting in the discussion post and responding to other people? And so this would be your participation. And so honestly, my course is set up for you to have success, but you need to have the discipline and motivation to do it. And really, to be successful in life, you need to have motivation and discipline. For me, it's not necessarily all about grades. It's about learning from what you are doing. What drives me nuts is that my students just want an A, but they don't care about what they learned. I would love for you to walk away at the end of the semester knowing more about Spanish, knowing more about other cultures, being a better global citizen, and seeing what your place is as a global citizen. It's so much more important to me that you take away information that will make you more successful in life at the end of this class. And so that's what I'm all about, and hopefully you're on board with that too. Okay, so 3 things to be successful. Be proactive. If you are struggling in this class, I will not know until you reach out to me, especially because it's a web course. Please email me. There is no shame in my game. I am here to support and help my students in every single aspect so that we can be successful. I am not here to judge you. I am here to make sure we get to the finish line together. So if you are having issues you don't understand, please reach out and be proactive. I am happy to help you. The growth mindset, I just mentioned this before. The growth mindset is knowing that you're going to fail, but you keep trying again and again and knowing that eventually you are going to get it, right? That's all life is a series of mistakes and learning from those mistakes until you get that. And that's a huge part of learning a world language. Patience with yourself is the most important. We all want to be able to speak fluent Spanish at the end of 6 weeks or the end of 15 weeks, but I tell you, unless you're spending 10 hours a day, every day on your Spanish, that's just not possible. Be patient with yourself. Learning a world language is new and different and can be complicated. Give yourself some leeway to make those mistakes and to be human. You do not have to be perfect. And so this was just a small introduction. I hope that you feel excited to learn more about Spanish. I'm really excited to share about Spanish with you as well. So one way that you can also keep up is this resource. So this is a great resource as well. I recently received a grant to do some TikToks. I'm under Professor Bridget Beeline. So last spring, I visited Amsterdam, France, and Spain. This summer, I'll be in Paris. And so if you want to follow along with some of my travels around the world, learn some more about language, please follow me on TikTok at Professor Bridget Beeline. You can also find me on YouTube. I'm looking forward to an amazing semester with you. Adios. And I'm going to leave you with this really fun song. So again, we listened to Alegría by Alelia and Elizabeth. And I hope that this brings you some joy as well.